Okay, so we have got the login screen going, and I'm going to get it over here to the combat log so I'm not disturbed. I'm going to have to read a lot, and I probably picked the wrong class to do a read aloud with, okay? So, you remember on Friday, I told y'all about how after the Trump and Zelensky meeting, or whatever day that was that I did that, the meeting itself was on Friday, and I said, in my opinion, I believe that we may very well have a foreign agent. Well, here comes this. Take a look. Oh, there wasn't a feather. No wonder I couldn't find it. So take a listen, and I will link this over at Blue Sky. When a former KGB chief shares your article and the American media is still asleep. Something bizarre just happened. Something that proves independent journalism is doing what the corporate press refuses to do. And we're going to AoE tank too while we do this, okay? Because I can. A couple of weeks ago, Closer to the Edge published an article. The link will be there on the very first link that we do, so don't worry about it. You can get it from that. Calling out CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and every other major news outlet. Excuse me. Oh, why did I do that? For ignoring what should be one of the biggest geopolitical bombshells in modern history. Alner Musayev, the former head of Kazakhstan's intelligence service. I forgot to use a hammer. There's my problem. So let me repeat that paragraph, okay? Alner Musayev, former head of Kazakhstan's intelligence service, claimed that Donald Trump has been a Russian asset since 1987, operating under the KGB codename Krasnov, Krasnov. That's the kind of story that should set off alarm bells in every newsroom across the country, but instead, silence. So, we did what the mainstream press wouldn't. They, we meaning them, not we meaning me. I'm not affiliated with this page in any way, shape, or form. So I'll try to fix the pronouns. Okay. So they did what they claim mainstream press wouldn't. They wrote about it, and then things took a turn they never saw coming. Can I get one more wolf or no? Nope. Okay. So this strange chain of events that got this story to Musayev. Okay. So after the article was published, Facebook user Vladimir Vladkunko copied and pasted it, added his own introduction, and shared it in this post. Link to come. And by the way, while I'm at this point, let me finish this wolf off, and then I will state the following. You may take this with as much salt or whatever you need as you can, but as you want, but I'm thinking after recent events, this is becoming more and more believable. Okay, the whole idea is more and more believable, but your mileage may vary and you may need to take it with some salt. Phooey, I didn't get to do the pool right. There we go. So here's what Volodymyr wrote before the article. Okay? I'm calling it as it is. I don't care whether you agree with me or not. Just check your response with your gut. My gut never lies to me. I've had my suspicions all along about this stooge. I'm assuming they mean Donald Trump. He is not intelligent enough to pull this off by himself. We better hope that all of this. Oh, no, they're talking about Elon Musk. Sorry. Oh, hey, get over here. See, this is why I should never have done this on a paladin. I should have used my hunter. Let me start this paragraph again. I've had my suspicions all along about this stooge, okay? He's not intelligent enough to pull this off by himself. We better hope that all the social security numbers and tax info, that muskrat, so yeah, they saying him as Donald Trump, that muskrat just uploaded from SSA and IRS from every single American's citizen's account doesn't end up in Putin's files. Whoever has that info can potentially wipe out every dime we have and can potentially fund a world takeover. Shortly after that, Casey and I'm assuming because there's an umlaut over the E, I'm assuming German rules, and it would be Ködington, copied Vladimir's version word for word and posted it into a Facebook group called, quote, the United States Academy for Democracy, Diplomacy, and the Power of Voting, end quote. Here's his post link. That's when something incredible happened. Oh, there's a feather. Yay. One down. Honor Musayev, the very former intelligence chief they wrote about, saw this version, translated the article into Russian, and shared it on his own page. Yes, the former KGB officer they were writing about read the article and thought it was important enough to share. Then they link Musayev's post, the Russian translated version. Meanwhile, the Daily Beast briefly ran a story on Musayev's claims, then deleted it. No correction, no retraction, just wiped it from existence. Why? The American media just got outperformed by Facebook users and a former spy. Again, just let that sink in for a moment. Oh, there's no way I can do that without the other one. Okay, come here, you. I thought I could make it an easy one, but nope. Come on. I know. I should have mounted, but oh well. Now, here we go again. Back to the article. Imagine being the New York Times or CNN right now. Imagine spending years breathlessly covering the Trump-Russia stories, and then when an actual former intelligence chief makes the clearest accusation yet, you miss it entirely. Imagine being so far behind the... let me reread. I get distracted. Just dies from reflective damage. Imagine being so behind the ball that random Facebook users and an ex-KGB officer are more on top of global intelligence than your entire newsroom. Musayev sharing this article isn't just validation, it's proof that independent journalism is now doing the job the corporate media refuses to do. This isn't just about us, this is about all of you, the readers, the sharers, the subscribers, the people who push these stories into the world when the mainstream press won't, because let's be real. It could have been a feather. Nope, no chicken feather. Okay. Because let's be real. We wrote the article, but it was your engagement that spread it. And that's true. There we go. Now, pronouns again. We meaning them, they investigated the story, but it was your shares that made sure the right people saw it. We called, pronouns again, they called out the media, but it was your support that made it impossible for them to ignore. This isn't just a victory for us, it's a victory for every single person who just refuses. There we go, who refuses to let the truth be buried. Closer to the Edge has been seen over 100 million times in the past 90 days. I'm sure that's a good statistic. That's 100 million moments where independent journalism has reached people in ways the corporate press has failed. This is what happens when people decide they don't need the New York Times or CNN to tell them what's important. Every share, every subscription, every comment, every small contribution fuels this movement. The media won't chase the truth unless we force them to, and that's exactly what we're going to do. What happens next? Keep pushing. This story isn't over. If anything, it's just getting started. Here's what you can do right now to keep it moving. Share this article everywhere: Facebook, X, Reddit, anywhere people talk about news. Tag news outlets and demand coverage: CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, Washington Post. Make them answer why they're ignoring this. And honest to goodness, if it is happening, if this is the case, why are they ignoring it? I mean, legitimately, why is it being ignored? Even if it isn't true, it needs addressed, right? I mean, I'm not saying that these people over on this page are lying either. I'm just saying it does need addressed. Tell independent journalists, reporters like blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to mention them. They live for stories like this. Send it to them, flood their inboxes. Believe it or not, this just showed up in my feed, and I'm like, I'm reading this one tonight. And subscribe and support. Even here, subscribe and support. If you want independent journalism to keep doing what the mainstream media won't, become a paid subscriber to them, or even buy them a coffee. Every dollar goes toward keeping the stories alive. Final thought: this is just the beginning. The mainstream media wants to ignore this, but the more we push, the harder it becomes for them to pretend it's not happening. They don't want to admit that independent journalism is leaving them in the dust, but we are, and we're just getting started. Share this, spread it. Let's make them listen. Give me just a second here, and I will come back up here, and I will read to you the original article, and this is from February 21st. Okay, so please be aware of the date. The date of the original post. Okay, this is the one that got translated several times with different introductions, and is now shared by an ex-KGB person. So here I go. There is something rancid in America, a slow creeping rot. Ooh, this is a good writer. I like their allusions here. A slow creeping rot that smells like cold McDonald's fries. Oh, poop. Aerosol hairspray. Sorry. Poop was not in that. Like cold McDonald's fries, aerosol hairspray, and the unmistakable musk of a country too sedated to recognize its own hostage situation. For years, the idea that Donald Trump was compromised by Russia was dismissed as paranoid fantasy, just another wild-eyed conspiracy theory, another overblown headline in the endless saga of American political dysfunction. But now, two former Soviet intelligence officers, Alner Musayev and Yuri Shvets, are saying it outright. Trump was recruited by the KGB in 1987, groomed as an asset, and remains under Russian control to this day. And the worst part? He's already back in the White House. There we go. That's right, America, you did it. You walked face first into the banana peel of history, slipped, and fell straight into the arms of Vladimir Putin. Trump was kicked out in 2020, spent 4 years plotting his comeback, and now he's returned like a bloated orange cockroach. It just won't pass. They use a different word, sorry. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly. The Kremlin's favorite stooge is running the country again, and this time he knows exactly how to stay in power. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. If you think this is just another round of the Trump show, you're not paying attention. This isn't politics anymore. This is treason. This is foreign subversion. This is a God bleep coup in slow motion. Let's break it down nice and simple. Alnur Musayev isn't some Twitter conspiracy theorist with a tinfoil hat and a podcast. He is the former head of Kazakhstan's National Security Committee, which means he knows exactly how Russian intelligence works because he was a part of the system. Because in 1987, Kazakhstan was a part of the Soviet Union. Okay? That's your history. I go back to this. And what he's saying should make every American's blood run cold. Even if I don't get chicken feathers, I am having a good time with these wolves. Now, I'm at let's break it down nice and simple. Okay. According to, yep, there we are. I lost my place. Come here, puppy. I did that in the wrong order. Back her up. Position. According to Musayev, Trump was identified, recruited, and compromised by the KGB in 1987. During his first trip to Moscow, they saw him for what he was, a narcissistic, greedy, attention-starved buffoon who could be easily manipulated. Whew, dang. The KGB flattered him, promised him business deals, and planted the seeds of political ambition in his little head. In his empty little head. Sorry, I left out a word. And from that moment on, he was their man. The only bad part about paladining like this, you have to drink a whole heck of a lot. But anyway, I go on. But Musayev isn't alone. Former KGB major Yuri Shvets said the exact same thing in 2021. Trump was cultivated by Soviet intelligence because he was an easy mark, too stupid to realize he was being played, too egotistical to care. They saw him as a useful idiot, a man who could one day be nudged into power, a walking, talking Trojan horse for Russian interests. And now the plan has worked. Trump spent 4 years in office weakening America from within, got booted out, and now he's back for round 2. Hang on just a minute, and then I'll go on with the article. I'm going to try to round up a couple more wolves. We'll just AoE grind for a bit, even if I don't get wildkin feathers. But by the way, you pick up that quest at Rutheran Village, which is just outside of Darnassus, and that is where the flight path is. Here. Lot 42, puppy. There you go. Stop it. There you go. Now I can't see. Shoot. There we go. Now I got this. I know. I want to be able to see though. There we are. Now, if you had told... I'm coming back to the article now because I can finally. If you had told the American public in 1962 that a Soviet-backed asset would one day sit in the White House, they would have burned Washington to the ground before... Oh, come on, I clicked you. There. Got my auto attack stuff. If you had told the American public in 1962 that a Soviet-backed asset would one day sit in the White House, they would have burned Washington to the ground before letting it happen. But today, nobody seems to care. The media treats this just like another wacky subplot in the never-ending Trump reality show. Congress is too busy fighting over meaningless culture war nonsense to do anything about it. And the American public? Exhausted, numb, checked out, years of scandals. Russia collusion, Ukraine blackmail, classified documents, tax fraud, sexual assault, forcible copulations. I need to do the official approved version that doesn't get you bleeped. And attempted coup have fried the country's brain like an overcooked steak at Mar-a-Lago. See, they've got some. They're doing some really good out. They're doing some really good similes here, aren't they, or metaphors? Trump has done the impossible. He has committed so many crimes so openly, so brazenly, that none of them matter anymore. And now, with Musayev's revelation that Trump is an active foreign asset, we have finally reached the point where the biggest political scandal in American history is met with a collective shrug. This is how democracy dies. Not with a bang, but with a God-bleeped eye roll. This is the part where the skeptics start clutching their pearls. Oh, come on, they say. If Trump were really a Russian asset, wouldn't there be more proof? To which I say, are you blind or just willfully stupid? Let's go through the evidence, shall we? Trump spent his entire first term doing exactly what Russia wanted. He attacked NATO, calling it obsolete. Yes, he really did. He's probably going to take us out of NATO and threatening to pull the U.S. out, which he still does. He tried to blackmail Ukraine into manufacturing dirt on Joe Biden because weakening Ukraine helps one man and one man only, Vladimir Putin. He pulled U.S. troops out of Syria. There we go. He pulled U.S. troops out of Syria, handing power over to Russian forces. He picked fights with Canada and Europe while cozying up to dictators. Even now, in his second term, he is more openly pro-Putin than ever. He has made it clear that he will not protect NATO allies from Russian aggression. He is actively dismantling America's alliances, just as Russia planned. And while Americans scream at each other over whether Target should sell rainbow t-shirts, Trump is quietly selling the country to the Kremlin. At some point, you have to stop calling it a coincidence and start calling it what it is: treason. The United States is running out of time. If Trump serves out this term without being removed, America as a functioning democracy is finished. Excuse me, I have to cough. Sorry. I've used my voice a lot today. I apologize. The media needs to wake up. Enough with the Trump fatigue excuse. This is not just another scandal. This is the single greatest, I didn't read it verbatim. This is the single greatest infiltration of American power in history. Journalists need to dig into Musayev's claims, demand declassification of intelligence files, and treat this like the national emergency that it is. Congress needs to subpoena Musayev immediately. His testimony must be public, and every document he has should be reviewed. If there is proof that Trump has been compromised since the 1980s, the American people need to know. Yes, we do. The Justice Department needs to stop pretending that Trump is just another politician. Well, it's a little too late, but how about the hay? If there is evidence that the sitting president of the United States is working in Russia's interest, he must be removed from office and prosecuted for espionage. And the American public, you have one last chance. This is not about Republican versus Democrat. This is not about taxes, gas prices, or whatever nonsense outrage, or whatever nonsense outrage is dominating the news today. This is about whether the United States remains a sovereign nation, or if we spend the rest of the century as a Russian client state with a golf course. The sheer volume of Trump's corruption, the blatant nature of his crimes, the mountain of evidence that should have ended his political career, 100 times over. None of it mattered. He survived it all. Not because he was innocent, but because he drowned the country in so much scandal that nothing stuck. But this time it's different. If Musayev and Shvets are right, this isn't just another chapter in the endless Trump circus. This is the culmination of a decades-long Russian intelligence operation to install an asset in the White House. There is no coming back from this. If America lets Trump serve out this term without removing him, then the United States, as a democratic republic, is finished. Why I keep Righteous Fury up, by the way, is just to make it a little harder for somebody to steal the mob. That's the only reason, okay? Come here, Wolfies. And then I can finish this up, and then we can call this a night, okay? Listen, there is no coming back from this. If America lets Trump serve out his term without removing him, then the United States as a republic is finished. The country won't collapse overnight. There won't be tanks in the streets. Instead, the destruction of democracy will happen in slow motion, buried under lawsuits, propaganda, and corruption so blatant that people stop caring. If America lets this happen, if Trump is allowed to complete his mission, then Putin wins, the West crumbles, and the people who could have stopped it will look back years from now and wonder how they let it happen. Good night and good luck. Because if people don't wake up, America is going to sleepwalk straight into its own funeral. I know this has been a very long one, and I hope you listened. I really do. I'm going to leave the link over on my Blue Sky page. So if you want to see the original, please go there. Just look me up, News and Warcraft. You don't even have to have to like the page or anything. It's just going to be right there for you to see. Okay? So, for today's News and Warcraft, this is Turkeytentia. Please be safe and have a great day and great gaming. Goodbye, everybody.